Now it's time to create blog articles using Garchi CMS and get it in our website using APIs, Garchi APIs. So here, when we create an account on Garchi CMS, we get a default space. So I've just renamed the default space, and also we can create additional spaces depending upon our subscription plan. So here, I'll go to the space. Each space you could say is like a virtual working space. And here you can create like a headless page, or you can create blog articles or products inventory or user profiles or anything that you can think of. And also you can customize it using this meta fields. You can add your own key value pairs of any type, and also you can use the API to modify these key value pairs. When it comes to headless web, you have headless pages. So we can create the headless pages. For instance, this one over here is a headless page, like all the content is created over here. Each one is a section template, or you could call it as a component that maps on our website. And also there are props for each section template. So it's more like you follow your code structure. So you have your pages, you have components, and the props for it. Now this CMS is only for content management. So whatever content we could think of, we can create over here. We can create the categories. Each category is associated with an item. So there are many relationships. So programming is, in this case, is a category, and these are the blog articles associated for that category. And I can create many categories or anything I like. E-commerce features are more useful if you're dealing with, like, say, some e-commerce product, or if you want to store data related to the order. So we could use the orders API. As soon as the transaction is completed through Stripe or something, we can store it using the orders API, and we can see the orders, modify the orders on go, and then have it reflected in our app as well. So overall, it's a pretty good headless CMS, and we will start using it by, so I've already created some articles. I'll just show you how they are created, and then we will make the API call and have them rendered on our website. So to begin with, here I can go to add new item. I just need to give it the title to the item. The article, because item it is here. It could be a product, it could be an article, it could be anything. So that's why it's called item. So I just need to give a title over here, a slug, so that I can have it rendered dynamically. Then what categories it belong to. If it's an external URL, let's say an Eventbrite link or something, I can put it over here. If it is an e-commerce product, then I can fill up these details. Otherwise I could just hide it and proceed forward. One line description just for if you have a card and you want to show it. And then this will be our actual markdown, or you could say the article body. So we could use the AI feature, give some additional instructions here, and then have this article generated, or we can just write it by ourselves. Now I have written a few articles over here, actually randomly generated. So if I go over here, try to edit one, and here we will see that I've already written one like a very random article. And also if you want to add a feature image, then we can go to edit and look for add images, and here we could add feature images if we need it. Also, if you want to add author details, we can go to extra details. We can add the author over here. We can add when the date was published, and so on. So to get these articles from here, we can use the API. So there are two ways to get it. Either we can get all the articles based on a space, or we can get all the articles for an account. Now, if you're using a space, then we can use this space UID. This will be needed for most of the APIs wherever it's asked for space UID. Otherwise, we can simply get all the articles. Now, I personally prefer to get all the items, because there could be a cases that the blog articles are separated in three different spaces. So you can just get on our website all the articles and just display it. But if you have different websites, different spaces associated with it, then it's best to get items based on spaces. So if I go to the starter kit, within the starter kit over here, there is a helper class. In that, it makes the post and get request, and also there are usage of it, example usages. So we'll use this helper class, and we will call this on a server side. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to create a page, new file, blog.view. Then here I'm going to create a setup script, scaffolding. No need styles for now, can get rid of it. Here I'm going to say const data, and here I'm going to use await use async data, and here I'm gonna give it a like here, I think I need to give it a key over here. Yep. So that will go over here. I will call it blogs. And then as these blogs are paginated, so if we want to have pagination feature, like how it is in the API over here, you will see these are paginated. So if you want to have the pagination per page blog, then we need to make it more like a function and then make this as a paginated one. So maybe blogs and then whatever the page number is. So we will need here const page equal to ref of 1, and whatever the page number is, we need to pass it over here like this. So this is our blog article. So here we can call the function over here, this one, the post request function, get request function. And also we need to create the API key before that. So I can go over here, go to subscription and API, go down over here, create a new token, call it testing, create that token, get this key. This key is very important. It is used for billing, and it's best to use these API calls on the server so that this key is not compromised. If it's compromised, we have to create a new one. And then we can go to nuxtconfig.ts, put our key over here, the new key. I just used it before for testing. And then here, all I need to do is return. So first I need to call the Garchi helper. So const Garchi helper equal to new Garchi helper that comes from Garchi, this file over here. And then here I just need to say return Garchi helper dot Garchi post request, get request. The endpoint is items, and yeah, that's all it needs. So if we just console this, console.log data.value to see what articles do we get. So if we just go back over here and try to reload this, try to call this and see in there. So we get data blogs 1. Oh, sorry, something is wrong here. Sorry, this should be without a callback because this is considered as a function to get the data fetching function. But if I put the function here, that will be considered as a data fetching function. So I can just use backticks, maybe the new update. So here I can go back, reload the page, and here I will get the articles. So all I need to do is use within the data, there is data attribute, this one over here, that's an array, and these are the articles that I'm looking for. So I can use the title, then I can pass in the link of that image of that article, and so on. Now to use this, what I'm going to do is go to Tailwind typography. I will install that later. Tailwind UI, look for the blog sections. So here I could use blog sections, and maybe I'll use this one over here. So I'll copy the code, and all we have to do is just modify the code here and there. What we are interested in, this article card over here with this grid layout, this one over here, that's our area of interest. So I will just copy this code, paste it over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this article as a separate block card. So here I'm going to create a component, new folder. Actually, I'm going to call it blog. Within the blog, I'm going to create a file known as card.view, and then get this blog article from here like this and put it over here. Sorry, vbase setup, put it over here. The reason I'm putting it over here because there will be cases where I need to get the author details from the meta, because if we look into the API response, there should be somewhere item meta, this one over here, and within that we have the meta details like author, date published, and so on. So we want to use those computed properties on each one of these rather than using it in one go kind of thing. Now here what I'm going to do is, so v4 is not needed, this is not needed, so that can go. Then we could use Nuxt image, but for now I'll just keep like normal image, or let's try to use Nuxt image actually. So here it is in the documentation under docs API components. We have Nuxt image, and so I can use this command to add that. So I will go to the terminal. There it is. It is added. It has added now Nuxt image. So I can go back over here and just need to use it like Nuxt image and the src. Okay. So I could say Nuxt image, like it's just for the performance reason, like it just makes it better, so we'll just use that. Now the image URL will be different because when we pass the post, so if we go back over here, we have the main image. So any image that we add first in those 4 images, that's our main image, so we can use it as a feature image. So I'm going to call it main_image. This one over here, so our post date will be it will come from the meta. Now if we want to get the meta details on the documentation, so there we have it, like within the documentation data items, we can flatten the meta details and then we can straight away use it with whatever details we want. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this inside the computed property. So all this will come from here, and here I'm going to create a computed property. So here I'm going to say const meta details computed, and that will come over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a prop. So I'm going to say here const props equal to define. So define props. I'm going to have post, and that will be of type. There are already types if we want to use the types. So if we go to assets types Garchi d.ts, there are already type for a Garchi item, so we could use this Garchi item type. So here I'm gonna say Garchi item, that is this one over here. So I could just import the type. As that's a JavaScript, I cannot use type, I just need to import it like this, and that will be our Garchi item type, this one over here. So that's great. Now next thing over here is, so the post will be of type Garchi item, so we can use the post over here, and this will be post dot meta item reduce item meta dot reduce, and so on. So we'll get the meta details. Now here all I need to do is, instead of saying post dot date, I have to say whatever the key here is. So if I go to the dashboard, if I go to the items and just pick one, so whatever key is here, this is date_publish, that's my key. I should refer over here as well. So I would say meta details date.publish, that's just defensive programming if it doesn't exist. Then categories will come from here. So if we see within the categories array, there are list of categories, and we could use these categories to display our articles, articles categories. So if I show you one of them, this one over here, it will be an array, and within the category array we will get the category. So here I will have another const categories computed property again, and this I want to join it. So here I'm gonna reduce it actually. So here I'm gonna say props dot, should be props dot post as well, props dot post dot categories dot reduce, and I'm going to use defensive again here just in case if it doesn't exist. And then I'm going to get the prev value, the current value, and this will be there, and this will start with a string, blank string, and here all I need to do is return prev value. So prev value dot equal to, should join it actually, current dot category with this, and then return prev like this. So categories will come over here, and we don't need a link to this. I can remove the link from here. just make it more like a span tag. Remove the href from here. That will be my categories. So be a span tag, closing here, give it a space so it is formatted right. Perfect. Now date published is over here. We also need to put the same thing over here. Also this will be props.post because we are using the props over there. This will be props.name because that's what it's called in the API name. Then props. We need the one line description, so one liner, this one over here, short description. Then author will be, we don't have an author image for now, so we can remove this img, and we can make again this as a span tag, remove the URL because there are no hyperlinks for the author, and this will come from the meta details. So meta details, and then the key we are using is author, so that will be author. This is not needed, and I think so far we are good. Okay, so next we need to use v-for, so block card, and here all we have to do is we need to v-for, so we will have the post in data.data, the key will be post.id, and the post will be whatever the post is. So if we keep this like this, also we need to make this as our text light, the colors that we are using. This will be again text light, and this will be have fun. Okay, let's go back over here, reload this. Oh, sorry, I need to start the server. npm run dev. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, it says script and styles are ignored, and something is wrong over here. Okay, let's see what's wrong. Right, we are adding this over here. This shouldn't be here. Like this this template, we just need one template over here. Perfect. Right, reload. And then we have assets failed to resolve from assets Garchi. Okay, let's see what's wrong over here as well. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I think as we are using JavaScript, so it's not interpreting it properly, and also it is garchi.d.ts, so it's for types, so that's why that's another problem. So what we will do is we'll remove the type from here as we are using JavaScript and just give a type of object. That would be much easier for now. And also here we just need to go back over here, so we have the articles. So wherever there is an image, we got the image. Wherever there's no image, there is no image. And also we need to change the color of these text. So here I'm gonna say text gray 100. And what else do we got here? Also I'm gonna make text gray maybe 100. Here also I'm gonna make it 100. This one also 100. And now it is looking a little bit better. Somehow the categories are not there, so let's double check why the categories are not there. So if we go over here, we got categories, text data, bg gray 500, and this should be name. And now if we go back over here, reload the page, so we got this, and there we have the category programming. So all we need to do is change its background color, make it maybe 600, and if we go back over here, there we have the categories. Okay, so the blog articles are there, images are not there because most of the articles haven't uploaded the image. Now next thing we want is when we click on this, it takes us to that specific article. So here we are using href, so that's going to be post.href. so here I'm going to say Nuxt link, that's going to go to post.slug, and also it should be like this. So blog, then whatever the slug of the article is, like this. Okay, right, and this should be here in the double quotes, like this. So if we reload this, and when we click on this, that should take us to the blog Headless CMS. Perfect. Now next thing is, what I want is also change this title over here. So we can remove this for now. Use SEO meta. Title is blog, description is blog. Take the image out of here, take the URL out of here, keep it very simple, and there we have the blog. Perfect. The other thing we will need is, so these are the categories. There are no categories. That's fine for some articles. Some of them don't even have the author and that, so it's a bit randomly I've added them. So the next thing we need to do is click on it, go to the page, and make a call. And as it's gonna be under this blog folder, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a folder blog, then put this inside this, and call this index.view. Perfect. So this is our root level, and then we will have a dynamic route. So we'll call this slug, and here we will have .view.